Hi everyone, so we are going to continue our reading from where we left off. We're still in the book of Matthew in chapter 6 and in the last section. And what I thought we should do today is actually split the section into two. There was a lot of emphasis and revelation that I know that we cannot fit into this one video, so it would be great for us to split it. But before we proceed with our reading, let's recall what we've read so far. So in the book of Matthew, chapter 6 details the continuation of Jesus' teachings from chapter 5. Now, our last teachings and sections in the first section talked about Jesus' teaching about giving to the needy, and basically Jesus talked about practicing our good deeds in front of others to see, and then proceeded to teach about prayers and fasting, which followed the same trend with regards to having to do our prayers for others to see that we're praying, or fasting for others to see that we are fasting. So all of those key things, he actually pulled it from the very heart and the things that people are seeking for, which is other people's applause instead of God's stamp of approval. So these were really key emphasis that I felt that was pretty interesting. And now we're going to proceed into the next section here, and we're going to split it into two. And this teaching is about teaching about money and possession. And we're going to read verse 19 and all the way to 24. And it begins with, "Don't store up treasures here on earth, where moths eat them and rust, destroy them, and where thieves break in and steal. Store your treasures in heaven, where moths and rust cannot destroy, and thieves do not break in and steal. Wherever your treasure is, there your desires of your heart will be also. Your eye is the lamp that provides light for your whole body. When your eye is healthy, your whole body is filled with light. But when your eye is unhealthy, your whole body is filled with darkness. And if the light you think you have is actually darkness, how deep is that darkness? No one can serve two masters, for you will hate one and love the other, and you will be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and be enslaved to money." So here's what I wanted to kind of break down very specifically about this teaching. Jesus is addressing material things specifically, but there was two things that he mentioned: treasures that are placed in heaven and treasures that are placed on earth. So one of the key things that I wanted to specifically emphasize is the treasures that we place on earth is things that are of the physical. When we pass away, when we die, we can't take those physical things with us. It stays here, and guess what? It rusts. So, and the treasures in heaven that Jesus is talking about here, this is what meets us on the other side. This is our eternal reward. Remember, we talked about reward. We don't necessarily know what it is. The reward we get in heaven is that we get to spend eternity with God. What is more valuable than that? That is the most valuable thing that we can ever ask for. So that was such a key emphasis that I thought was super interesting. And I want us to kind of think about this question, right? Is our heart desires centered in the things of the earth or things of heaven? And I think that it's only fair that we ask ourselves those questions, because the things that we don't think that we treasure before God are the things that we actually treasure before God. And it's important for us to slow down and actually ask God to guide us through the right path. Now, the other thing that was really interesting was the lamp of the body, which is the eye. The eye, like I mentioned in a couple videos, is the gateway to our soul. Light comes through the eye, so is darkness. So which means that both can have expression in that eye gate, both darkness and light as well. So I want us to take some time to imagine a dark room that does not have any windows. It's just darkness, no light switch, nothing, right? We walk in there, we're unable to see whether there's anything wrong with the walls, there's any scratches, any scrapes. Is the paint consistent across all four walls? We don't know that, right? So now when we switch on the light, what happens is we get to now see the entire room in its imperfection or perfection. Imagine a room that actually was that dark and the light switch was turned on and there were scratches, the paint was inconsistent, there was scrapes all over the place, and there was blemish, right? So that very specific light that actually pierce through that room. That exposure brings awareness, and then healing begins to take place through our Lord Jesus Christ. It begins to actually expose those things, because when light comes in, there is no more room for darkness. So that light that has now taken root has now brought health into your entire body. How beautiful that is that. So imagine that same thing though, that same room, no light switch, no avenue of actually seeing light come through that room, right? Darkness is hidden. And if there is no opportunity of light getting into that dark room, there's no possibility of exposure, which means that darkness has overpowered it. And even if there was blemish or imperfection, it cannot come to light and it will be hidden. Imagine our bodies in that regard, wherein light has come in and healing begins to take root through our Lord Jesus Christ. And on the other side, darkness is so hidden that now, like, that person is not even aware that there is darkness. And that's what Jesus is saying here. How deep is that darkness? How deep is that darkness? So I thought that was very interesting, and I wanted to kind of give you that analogy. It's been in my head for quite some time. And if your heart is centered on the things and treasures of the earth, then you have chosen a master. And guess what? That master is not God. If it's anything outside of the things of heaven, anything outside of God, then what you have chosen is not the things of God. And you cannot give God 75 and give the earth 25, neither can you give the earth 50 and give God 50. Or vice versa. You're either all in or you're all out. So I wanted to leave that with you today, for you to ponder on, because I have a lot to ponder on too as well. And I cannot wait to continue the rest of the other verses with you in our next reading. All right, have a good night. Bye.